Well, hello and welcome to the most generic podcast on the internet. My name is Josh Hawks. I am the 303 Ninja. And right over there, he is my podcasting partner for life. He is the other guy. It's Mr. Francis Fernandez.
What up, homeboy? I don't know.
What up, homeboy?
Maybe because I too feel the love of a said rapper of whom you had encounters with.
You make it sound like I fucked a rapper.
Did I?
That's the way I just took it. And it was,
Wow.
The best part.
No, that's not what I meant.
Okay.
That's not what I meant.
Well, I didn't, but.
You at least hung out in general proximity towards the ninja rapper himself, but we'll talk about that later. How you doing, man? How's it going?
I'm doing okay. Francis, it's something that we haven't said here in a couple months. I put effort into the bumper thing at the beginning, and then sometimes we have nothing to talk about, so I don't do the bumper thing. But in case people are wondering, this is the Points of Interest podcast.
That's true.
Yeah, I forgot to say that.
Don't you say that normally?
No, because I just jumped in. Well, normally I do say that because it's part of the bumper. Then I just jump in with the most generic podcast on the internet. But
did you get Rip Van Winkle to say something?
No, I did not. Before we get to that, though, Francis, what's up? What's going on with you?
Well, the biggest thing that I think that's happening is that it's getting close to the holidays, and I hate it.
Okay, that's usually. I mean,
because
you do
so
hear
quick.
that. You do hear that, but like,
it's freaking Halloween in like 2 weeks.
That is true.
And then a month after that, Thanksgiving, and then a month after that, Christmas and New Year. Like, gone. Just in it. Can't even snap my fingers. It's just I'm so annoyed. Not annoyed, but like so riled up by the fact that 2022, for the first time in 3 years, is going by quickly, like a normal year, and it really bothers me because I even though that nothing happened because you stayed home the whole time, but like,
right.
Man, at least the year lasted.
That is true.
Like there was a year.
That is true. There's something every year, I would say around September, August, September is where to me the gas pedal on the year gets stepped on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true.
Everything up to about June to me is pretty slow, and summer to me just is in a snap of a finger.
Well, that's true.
And then we're, depending on Colorado's, attitude or mood that day, you might skip over fall and just go right into winter.
Oh, that's yeah.
So I don't know.
Here's my
go ahead.
Question for you. It's Halloween. Do you have any Halloween plans or parties or anything for the spooky season?
No parties that I know of. Events, possibly. Ginger's in the house. Possible events, or like spooky walks, like a corn maze or something.
Oh yeah.
Or like the botanical gardens usually does a spooky thing.
A pumpkin patch.
A pumpkin patch, something like that. I don't. Neither one of us necessarily have our own dwelling in which to do something cute like carving pumpkins.
You could do it there. You could carve them there.
No.
You don't have to go anywhere specific. You can get the pumpkins there.
No.
Pick out your pumpkins. Start carving on the spot.
Oh,
Not
okay.
on the spot, but like on the table over there.
Just right there in the grass, just field dressing a pumpkin.
Kids, stay away. Got a knife.
Yeah.
Cutting here.
Just gutting this pumpkin out real quick. Hang on. You strap it to your back, walk it like it's a deer out of the forest or something.
Yeah.
I've seen shows. I don't know. I guess that's what it's like. I don't know.
It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Are they going to show that, you think? Is that something that still gets played 50 years?
Snoopy is... Even though, look, I appreciate people who really love the Peanuts stuff. Like, I understand because it's nostalgic and it's tradition. But oh my God, are they boring? I can't watch them.
They're real downtrodden. A lot of them are.
Well, yeah, it's a roller coaster ride because Charlie Brown is supposed to be like the out of luck kid who's, balding at 9, right?
Right.
And it's like, okay, and nothing good ever happens to him. Even his best friends like screw him up, like Lucy taking the ball away right before he's gonna kick it, right? So I always feel bad for Charlie Brown and the gang, but yeah. You have a kid who never washes. His name is Pigpen. Like,
That's true.
Always dirty, right? Like, I don't know, but anyway, again, more power to the people who love Peanuts.
Yeah.
I understand. I get it. It's just not for me. But, yeah.
Well, as you alluded to before we hit the old record button, this is kind of a weird nostalgic day. And since you are bringing up,
It's very nostalgic.
Since you're bringing up the Peanuts,
Yeah.
I could bring up somebody nutty as well. Look at that. Okay. This past
a lot of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts. That's awesome. This past weekend, there was a traveling show that came through Denver called Collect-A-Con. It's the first time I ever heard of it, seen anything from it. When I reached out to them to say, hey, how would you like to have, someone that's done press at San Diego Comic-Con come to your show and cover your thing? I never got an email back at all. And I sent another email and I never, heard anything, which is fine.
Yeah.
But it is the first show I've had to pay for in like 10 years. Tickets were very affordable, but unless you were really into Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, trading said Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon cards, or buying Pokemon type merch, really wasn't the show for you. Mostly just a card. I mean, booths and booths and booths of cards. I didn't know that Gem Mint was a grading for cards. I knew Mint was. I didn't know Gem Mint was a thing. And I saw a lot of Gem Mint, protected cards, and I'm like, what? This is ridiculous. And the art, I mean, a lot of awesome artwork on a lot of the cards and a lot of cool looking stuff. That's not, unless they're Garbage Pail Kids, not really my jam.
So I went to the website just to see how it sold itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does Collect-A-Con say about itself when it tries to sell tickets to people? So here you go. Collect-A-Con, the nation's largest trading card, anime, and pop culture convention. So if they took out the anime and pop culture part,
and they did. They basically did.
Like it's just, yeah, it seems like it's just really a trading card.
Mm-hmm. It really is,
convention,
and that's
sucks.
Which is, I mean, it's fine. It's not our jam. Maybe Francis, maybe if it was a Hoff trading card show, maybe it would have been my jam. A non-sports, yeah. This place did have sports. There was signed UFC and boxing gloves from well-known boxers and UFC people. There were celebrities there. Charles Mario Martinet was there. Christina V from Sailor Moon and a bunch of other stuff. That's the only thing I know her from. Bryce Papenbrook, who I've got to have a panel with before in the past, and got to interview Christina in the past as well. Johnny Young Bosch, who I was in a group interview with. Walter Jones, the first Black Ranger. He was there.
Yeah.
And there were people, there's a couple other people there. Sonic was there. Ezio from Assassin's Creed was there. So there's a lot that the pop culture part was there. The problem with all of them though was that there was no price boards, like or like a placard at the end of the line or somewhere near a stanchion or something. So you have no idea how much anybody costs to get anything until you're standing in front of them.
Oh, wow. Oh, I wonder if you can negotiate the price then, if that's the case.
I don't know, but I didn't want to embarrass myself or my lady friend by standing in line for somebody for an hour and then get up there and be like, yeah, it'll be $120 to just talk to me. I'm like, man,
yeah,
I don't know about that.
God, yeah.
Yeah,
the worst part is the website doesn't give you any information as
exactly
to, like how much things cost or anything. It just okay. Here are your guests.
There's a schedule.
The panels, which are like, yeah, but there's like it looks like there's only one panel room because it's like,
and it wasn't even it wasn't a room. It was just in the corner.
Oh well, that sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm.
We've done that.
We have done that. We've done that a couple times. Yeah. But the highlight really of the show was, well, okay, before I get to that, actually, I did see some familiar faces. A couple of faces that you see in the crowd all the time, just like cosplayer type people or just people you see at all the shows. But I did see my buddy Pepper, artist Pepper. Okay. He was neck deep in a conversation with somebody, so I didn't want to interrupt, but he did see me off to the side and was like, oh, hey. And I said, oh, hey, it's Pepper. And then, we walked off. But the really highlight of the show was that Vanilla Ice was performing. And when I say performing, he played 3 songs, 2 of which I know were his. Third one, I'm not really sure. And then he played some other song. What? Huh?
Do you remember what the third one was? Do you remember what it was?
No.
Or like some of the lyrics? Oh, man.
No. But every song he played after that were other people's songs that he just fucking kind of screamed over. Yeah, the actual lyrics, but he was, he just sang them. There was maybe 1,000 people paying attention during the performance. And it was kind of hard not to because they had the speakers turned up to like 13.
Sure.
But that dude performed as if it was 1989 and there were 10,000 people in front of him.
Yeah, gotta love the man for that.
I totally do.
Gotta love the guy for that because
he went out there and like performed. I mean, he wasn't doing all the dance moves. They got the video during Ice Ice Baby. They got the video playing behind him, and you could see how old he is now in comparison. He's in his early 50s, I think.
Late 50s?
Early 50s, I think. 50s. But he went out there and he rocked it. He fucking rocked it. So he did Ice Ice Baby to open the show. And actually, he opened the show with a loud juggalo whoop whoop.
Oh, wow.
Because he's, at heart, he's still a diehard juggalo.
Sure.
But yeah, I heard it in the crowd and a couple other people did it. I went, oh, it must be Vanilla Ice time. But yeah, he came out, he rocked it. Ice Ice Baby had the ninja rap that came next, and there was a Ninja Turtle cosplay team that apparently travels with the show and got up and did some of the most non-rhythmic dancing I've ever seen in my life. Like, there's no way they couldn't not hear the beat. I don't care how thick those rubber suits are. You could feel and hear this damn beat. It was impossible not to. And they were dancing to a whole different tune.
But can you imagine how just slimy and smelly those costumes were?
Sure.
I'm sure they were just trying to like get their mind off that while they did their dance. Yeah.
But no, like I said, the third song, I have no idea what it was. He did that was basically his performance was the 3 songs. He did stop and start talking, thanking the crowd for being so hype, thanking the crowd for remembering him. And then he said, you know, the 90s were great. They're the best time, the pinnacle of our existence. And I was like, I knew I got along with this guy for a reason. We say the same shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then he said, I miss an age where there weren't as many good computers. And he explained why, and I don't remember exactly why, but more or less, there are less cameras and less evidence of the stupid shit you were out there doing. And then followed that up with, I miss Girls Gone Wild. And I went, well, you just fucking lost me there. Here's why, Francis. It's not because I don't like tits. Tits are great. Mm-hmm. But you're Vanilla Ice. Did you really need videotape and DVDs of girls showing their breastises? You're Vanilla Ice. You've been looking at naked breastises since 1989.
No. Oh, not anymore. Not anymore.
No,
That's
I said
why he misses it.
Maybe. But come on, he saw a lot of boobies before Girls Gone Wild was even a thing. Girls Gone Wild was a thing in the fucking 2000s.
No, it was a 90s thing. Yeah.
No.
You're right, 2000s.
It was 2000s. If it was 90s, it was super late 90s.
Oh, man.
Go look.
My Google
search
algorithm, but go on.
But it was just funny to see him, you know, just kind of reminisce on stuff, asking people, you know, who had cassettes, not 8 tracks, but cassettes, and some kid was, you know, who remembers me from back then? And some kid was cheering in the front row, and he was like, "You weren't even alive. Shut up."
So,
but
Gone Wild.
Okay, go ahead.
Existed from 97 to 2011.
Okay.
With a whopping, get this, 300 videos under that moniker.
Oh my God. All right, so I was wrong. I admit when I'm wrong. It's fine. But even still, the dude had seen 10 years of, I'm sure, 10 years of naked breastises before Girls Gone Wild was a thing.
Easily. Oh, yeah.
So, you know, it was just weird to start your rant with that one. When that one struck me, I'm like, ooh, I'm writing that down.
I just like that there's this kind of weird love still for Vanilla Ice. Mm-hmm. Like, there's this weird, the nostalgia for Vanilla Ice is still there. Like, people still like him for, even though, you know, he had that whole thing about the beat of Ice Ice Baby, and he had like a show where he would flip houses for like a few years.
Yeah, he fixed Amish people's houses. He was a handyman.
Amish people's houses.
He was a motocross star. Don't forget that.
Yeah, but that was pre-Ice though.
It was after.
Wasn't it?
It was he did it as a kid, but then after he got punked by Suge, he went back to motocross for a little while.
Okay. So, like, you know, he's one of the weird people, like these weird rappers, I guess, that has very little controversy attached to him, which is why people are like still cool with him. And also he's a better rep than the rep that was for one of the Wizards. I don't know if it was a Wizards Con or something, but there was a convention like about 6 or 7 years ago. That was where the MC was Kato Kalin, of all people.
Okay.
OJ's Kato Kalin was like the big get.
Yeah, it was a popular pop culture star for a little while.
Yeah, but not in 2000.
No, but like for the nostalgic, thing. Like, look at who we got.
That's true. Like,
that's how you sell the ticket too. You know, we got OJ Simpson's Kato Caitlin.
Yeah, that's kind of and he was like the guy who, I met him face to face. He was like standing right beside me, looking at the stage, and And I turn to him and it's like, oh, it's Kato Caitlin. He's like, hey man, thanks for coming to the con. He's like, yeah, and he's like, high fiving everybody. It was really weird. It was a weird experience. I didn't, but anyway, how close did you get to the Iceman though?
Not close enough. Not close enough. Because I wanted to, have him reach down and slap my hand and be like, "You're the greatest rapper in the world." And then he'd be on the show.
Yeah, well, we needed him to say, "Word to your mother. This is the Points of Interest podcast."
No, you end it with "word to your mother." You don't start a sentence with "word to your mother."
Word to your mother.
Yeah. He also here's the thing that made me pop. It wasn't the fact that Vanilla Ice was 25 feet in front of me or that he did Ice Ice Baby. He did the hand signal, Francis. The Vanilla Ice. I don't know if it's a hand signal or a gang sign. I don't know.
Is it where he does like this or something?
You do the Spock. You do a Spock, but then you bring your hands down, your finger and your forefinger, your pinky and your forefinger down. You make a V. Yeah, he could still do it.
That's hard.
That's what made me pop.
That's not easy to do.
That's what made me pop. I looked over at the lady friend and I went, "He did the hand signal."
So that's for Vanilla. Okay, I get it now at least. Oh man. All right.
Yeah.
Well, good.
It was a good time. It for me it was a hard ticket to once I was there. I was like, I don't know if this was worth what I paid, but I had a great time.
All right.
It was. It's there was a lot of cool stuff there. A lot of I don't mean to categorize this, but I don't know how else to word it. But Etsy type artists were the coolest booths that were there. People that made vinyl stickers or little hat pins or whatever the hell. Those were cooler booths than any of like I said, a lot of cool looking cards, but to me, a Charizard Pokemon card is like every other Charizard Pokemon card, unless it's like a thick Charizard Pokemon card.
Right.
Because those are the only cool Pokemon cards.
The one with a hologram foil. Yeah, you need the one that has the one that Justin Bieber wore around his neck because
Not
it was
Bieber.
Like $6,000. Who was it?
Logan. It was one of the fucking Paul brothers.
Oh, one of the Paul. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, I knew it was a weird.
It was some douchebag. Yeah.
Good comment. Yeah.
Yeah. His was. I think the one that he was wearing around his neck was one of 40. They only made 40 of those cards.
Yeah, it was a Gen 1 Charizard. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. Whatever it was, with the grading on it or what have you, but. No, and it, maybe he would have fit in better at that show instead of Vanilla Ice. I don't know.
No one will ever fit better into a show than Vanilla.
Oh, dude. And I mean, we always talk about how I'm stuck in the 90s, but he's so stuck in the 90s in such a cool, fun way. So much more than me. I'm sure. I really would like to fucking talk to that guy someday because like we were just talking about, he's done the rap thing. He's done the motocross. He's been a handyman. He's flipped houses. He's hung out with Amish people. What else has he done? He's from Miami. I don't know.
He's been in movies.
Yeah, he's in a movie. I don't want to call him a movie star, but he has his own movie that people don't remember. He was in the Turtles movie.
That's right.
Cool as ice. See, I know a lot about this dude. I can't even tell you the last time I even saw that movie. I remember it not being very good, though. No. But he would be fun to talk to. Nice. He would be fun. He would be cool to talk to.
Well, I think the other reason why he'd be cool to talk to because I don't think he would be so. I mean, he'd be a little over his head, like he'll be a little bit full of himself. True, probably because he still has some of that '90s kind of. He's still kind of holding on to some of that '90s love that he got, right? But at the same time, how many people are from that era are still kind of quote unquote true to themselves, right? Who are still kind of rocking the way they've been forever, right? Like everyone's changed to some degree in the
Flava
game, right?
Flava Flav.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I think of people like Ice Cube now does family movies, you know, and Ice T did for many years. SV, you know, Law and Order SVU.
The hardest gangster in the world became a cop on TV. That's transcending some shit right there.
Yeah. So it's like
the most popular, the most famous Crip in the entire world has a fucking cookbook and hangs out with Martha Stewart.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg. Yeah.
I actually want the dude's cookbook. I just found out today that he has a cookbook, and now I don't even like cooking that much, but I want the book.
Yeah. So you need to get it. But that's the thing, right? Like these rappers, these guys of notorious hip hop fame, except for like maybe Jay-Z and I don't know. I would say even Eminem softened a bit since his like I hate everyone. I hope my mom dies phase, right? When he was doing all that stuff.
Can we just pause on that thought for just a second, Francis? What does that motherfucker have to be mad about still? He's got all the goddamn money. He's got all the goddamn money in the world. He's like the most famous rapper in the world. Why is this 40-something-year-old dude still doing this in every photo? Yeah, I'm fucking 17. I'm flipping the camera off. I'm hard.
What's funny is that that's Eminem trying to still be like Vanilla Ice, right? Like he's still trying to hold on to something from his
like he's still trying to be Slim Shady.
Yeah, while for some reason it's perfectly okay that Vanilla Ice is still kind of like that because it's kitschy and kind of
it's a nostalgic act and it's a one-hit wonder.
But also, he was never hardcore either. Right?
No, he never tried to be.
He wasn't like take drugs and kill people, right, or whatever. It was more like, hey, I want to say hello to your mother.
I want to say words. I want to say words to your mother.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and drive around in his 5.0, his drop top 5.0.
Yeah. So for him, it's okay that he held on to that nostalgia. For Eminem, it's cringy because he's an adult who acts like a teenager, sort of, right? Like he still acts. That's
what I'm saying. The whole flipping off the camera thing. Like. Yeah. I opened up a restaurant where you can buy spaghetti. You can make that shit at home, but you can come to my restaurant and buy a spaghetti. And there's a picture of him in the drive-through. It's a drive-through spaghetti joint. I guess it's just a Fazoli's basically, which still exists, which is weird. But there he is in the drive-through window, flipping the camera off. And it was like a piece about his restaurant. It was in black and white. It was an artistic photo. And there he is flipping off the camera. Like, what the fuck do you have to be mad about still?
Eminem has a restaurant, really?
Yeah, it's called like Your Mom's Spaghetti or some shit.
Mom's Spaghetti? Oh my God.
Yeah. I think he just took over a Fazoli's. Because who the fuck pays for drive-through fucking spaghetti?
There was a pop-up one. Oh my God, how did I miss this? There was a pop-up one.
Because you have fucking taste for good food?
I would just go just to take a picture of the Mom's Spaghetti because that's everyone's favorite line from that song.
What song? See? I don't know. I have no idea about his fucking catalog of tracks.
So he has a song called "Lose Yourself" where he talks about vomiting on his shirt. And it's his mom's spaghetti. That's his vomit on his shirt before he does a rap battle. So, wow, that's insane. I'm so sad. Wow. Okay.
See, yeah,
it's a bit expensive.
Now I'm even more mad. $10 for fucking spaghetti.
Oh, and here's the picture of him. It's not even for spaghetti. It's for vegetarian spaghetti. $14 for spaghetti with meatballs. $4 for the meatballs, apparently. But the picture of is of him at the drive-through window holding out a cup of thing, and he looks pissed. He just looks angry.
Mm-hmm.
It's really funny. It's really funny looking.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
But sorry, I went off on a tangent. You were talking about something. I don't know what it was. I was listening.
I don't remember.
I was listening, but you know.
Like, it doesn't matter what I was talking about. All I know is that Mom Spaghetti exists, and now I'm sad, and I need to find another Mom Spaghetti just so that I can go over there, eat spaghetti, vomit all over my shirt, and be like, Mom Spaghetti, and just point at it. Anyway, let's talk about something else nostalgic then, because a good old Vanilla Ice, good for him.
Something
so much for rappers.
Well. Rappers. Well, okay. So with Instagram doing all the weird things that they're doing recently, many people have said that they're kind of becoming the new version of MySpace. So maybe one of these up and coming rappers could find a new way to get their music out, because when you go to someone's page, their rap music will be playing.
I like your very windy road segue into this topic. I'm a huge fan.
First of all, I think we have to explain what the hell MySpace is, or was, or still is.
Well, Justin Timberlake bought it like 5 years ago, right?
To make it
into like a music platform.
Is Justin Timberlake going to be your fucking new Tom that you're going to have to get rid of right away?
I really hope there's some. I guess they're called Zoomers now. They're not called Gen Z anymore. They're called Zoomers.
Okay. Is that because they all have ADD, or because we've run out of letters?
No, I don't know. I was watching this video before I go too far into a tangent. I was watching this video where this woman was interviewing Zoomer college students, right? All women, all female college students. And the question she asked these girls was, how much does a man have to make for you to consider them your boyfriend?
I saw that.
Consider them material to be your boyfriend. Did you see that? Yeah.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did see like a couple.
So everyone except for two people gave the same answer. So everyone was saying 500,000 per year is the minimum.
Didn't one girl say that some famous person was her fucking sugar daddy?
Oh yeah, whatever. Yeah, I don't know, but everyone, the vast majority of these women were like 500,000, $1 million, right? But all of them were six figures except for two people. One of which I think was just confused because she's like, oh, they can make $1,000 a month, and I don't care. I mean, I'm in love; it doesn't really matter. But the one everyone was kind of clinging to, because I guess because she was cute or something, was the skater girl. There's a skater girl in this video who's like, if they make $30,000 a year, I'm happy. I'm like, whatever. Like, who cares? Like, I'm in a relationship with the person I love. Whatever. Money doesn't matter. And every comment under this video was like, she's the winner. She's gonna be happy. She's gonna find love. She's gonna be like. Everyone was rooting for this one skater girl, but every other woman on there more or less said 100,000, 500,000, $1 million. So, which makes me weep for the dating scene in current state world right now, because good luck with that when like less than 0.5% of the United States makes six figures. So whatever. But anyway, beside the point. Or I mean, well, $1 million at least. I think.
Right.
Anyway, so MySpace. I would not put any of these girls into my top 8 on MySpace. First off, okay. Second off, MySpace is the prequel to Facebook and the sequel to Friendster, which I don't think anyone's even heard of. Friendster.
I was late on the fucking MySpace game. By the time I got a MySpace page, people already were HTMLing their way through life. So I heard of Friendster, but yeah, wasn't my thing.
So for people who are younger than, I guess, who are pre-90s kids, or no, post-90s kids, right? So born in the 2000s, you'd have no idea what MySpace is, because MySpace died around 2002 or something when Facebook took over.
Yeah, right around there.
Which is so weird, because I still think in the end MySpace was the superior social media network. Sort of. There wasn't a central there wasn't a central marketplace. There wasn't a central place where everyone could talk. Right? You had to go to their page to talk to them. Like, you had to know the MySpace page to talk to them. Anyway, I say this all because you mentioned that Instagram is now considering, they haven't done this yet, but they're thinking about putting music on your Instagram page when you enter your Instagram page. Which, if you ever owned a MySpace, that's what you did. You put things called, you could mess with the HTML on that page, so you could put, like, I don't know, animated GIFs everywhere, and like of stars and like under construction signs and stuff like that. And then you could put something called MIDI on there, which is like digital music. And it's just beeps and boops, kind of like video game music, but of popular songs. And that would play in the background the moment you went into a MySpace. So you enter a person's MySpace, myspace.com/Francis, and all of a sudden you go
right.
And then of course it'd be my name, and then there'd be stars, right, like blinking stars. And then as you just scroll down, you see, because you can modify it by this point, your top 16 friends on your MySpace, because people were fighting for your top 8 spaces. There's actually there's a song lyric about fighting for your top 8 spaces on your MySpace. And it was literally just you blogging about life. And people had to go to your page to find out what was going on with your life. It wasn't like a central place where everyone could see it. But yeah.
Right. Like Facebook is now. Or was even then, I guess.
And then Justin Timberlake, bought it in like 2010.
He's bringing MySpace back.
That's what they said. Oh my God, that's what they said.
I know, but I was trying to go for the lyric. I was trying to parody the lyric. He's bringing sexy back.
Yeah. Oh no, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
okay.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I tried.
So MySpace, you did no. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're on the ball on that, because that's what people were trying to do, and now it still exists. I'm actually on MySpace right now, and it still exists.
Is it blue still?
No, no longer blue. It looks very modern.
Okay.
Looks very modern. But it also looks like it hasn't been attended to in like years. I'm trying. There's no dates on anything, so it's like it's hard to tell whether or not it's new or not. Oh yeah, I don't think so, because there's stuff from May on here. Oh yeah, from March 27th, 2022. Yeah, so it's been abandoned for the most part. But yeah. But you were mentioning somebody who shows up on everyone's MySpace.
Tom. Right?
Did you ever have him as your friend on Facebook?
No. He was a MySpace guy. Why would he be on Facebook?
Because when MySpace went away, he went to Facebook.
Oh, no.
And he used the same picture on MySpace as his Facebook profile. He became friends with people on Facebook.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
Twitter.
That's awesome. No, like I said, to really honest with you, by the time I jumped onto MySpace, it was dying. It was already kind of a done thing. Because I'm trying to think. It was, when did I break up with that girl? 2004. So yeah, right around there, 2004, 2005 is when I.
Wow.
Yeah, that's because Facebook, I think at that time was still only closed off to college students or had just opened up, and I was like, "What the fuck is Facebook?" I didn't go to college. I don't need to connect with anybody.
Oh. Yeah.
I don't think I joined Facebook until 2009.
Which is right around the time when it became public, I think.
So there you go.
Because I didn't know this. According to this, MySpace, I don't know if I believe this. MySpace started in 2003? Really? It did. It launched 2003. I thought it was way before 2003.
Oh my God. Well, then I wasn't on the end of it then. I was right in the meat of it then.
Yeah, you're in the meat of it. Yeah, because that's when it popped up. It was August 1st, 2003 was when MySpace launched, which I feel like we're on an alternate timeline. I want to say like it should have been like 98 or something.
Right.
I'll assume that this is right. I'll assume that this is true, and it died around 2010.
See, that seems late.
Well, here it technically says it died in 2016, because it was bought out by another company. But yeah, so
yeah, August 1st, 2013. Yeah, I just looked it up too.
Is it weird? That's weird.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense to me.
2003 is what I meant to say, not 2013. Well, I mean, sometimes with nostalgia, it doesn't last, Francis.
Yeah.
Sometimes nostalgia does last. You go to fark.com, looks exactly the same as it did in 2005.
Fark.
Fark.
Another website no one's thought about until we talked about MySpace.
Right. But sometimes nostalgia just doesn't last. Sometimes it doesn't even last a damn year.
Nah.
Or just over a year, and then nostalgia dies off. Not really breaking news because it's Tuesday and this happened Sunday, but on Sunday, NBC Universal announced via a signed letter that got leaked out to the internet that G4, the relaunch of G4, was to shut down immediately. No goodbyes, no final shows of anything. Whatever was recorded last week, that's it. So G4's done. And listen to the screaming thousands of people that are sad that it's gone. I'll be honest with you. It was cool to see Attack of the Show back. It was cool to see Kevin Pereira and X-Play and Sessler back. It just wasn't the same. Attack of the Show was like a 3 or 4 hour show, and it was mostly just them going over, it was like America's Funniest Home Videos. They're just going over YouTube videos, which was a fun thing back in 2012, but they did it for 3 or 5 videos, and that was it. It didn't go on for hours on end. And it just didn't, I don't know, didn't do anything for me this last run. It was, like I said, it was cool to see everybody back. I had high hopes, but I think the NBC, Universal, or Comcast, whoever is the parent company there, kind of felt the same way I did. And it was just kind of like, all right, well, that was fun. It sucks that all these people, now don't have a job. They found out, a lot of them found out via Twitter, that why is G4 trending? Oh, look at this. There's a tweet from some guy with a weird handle name that has a leaked copy of the letter. Like that's got to suck to find out that you don't have a job. You take it doesn't matter how successful or how not successful the run was, to find out that you didn't have a job anymore on a Sunday afternoon. That sucks.
I followed it pretty closely, and some people were like, that's so funny because I was just yesterday negotiating my potential joining, some people potentially joining the G4, and other people yeah, we're talking about projects.
Yeah, there was a guy that was like, I was balls deep in renegotiating my contract.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, no, I guess you don't have to worry about that anymore. Now,
No.
I have. So your theory it failed is just that people weren't interested anymore, right?
I think yes, and the other half of it being I don't think. I think if they put it on the cock, it would have gotten more eyes on it. So yeah,
it was already on Twitch and on YouTube. It was like
it was on Twitch,
everywhere.
YouTube, and a couple terrestrial channels. Like,
Yeah.
I think they were on an internet cable provider or two, as well.
It's really weird. It was on Comcast. Yeah.
Comcast and like Fubo or something like Fubu or something like that.
Fubo, yeah.
Olio.
Pluto TV, I think it's on there.
Yeah, something. Pluto TV had certain shows, not all of them.
Yeah.
But I think that if they put it on the cock, more eyes would have been on it. And it may have had a better run.
Maybe. I think that it was too little too late because there's so many YouTube channels and so many Twitch channels that do exactly what G4 does.
Well, that's the thing is that when G4 shut down the first time, all of those kids that grew up watching G4 and X-Play or Attack of the Show and X-Play, when G4 shut down, they went, we're going to make that content and expand on that. And a lot of the people that are out there now that do all this shit that those shows did are the stars of the internet right now.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, so like at the very least, G4 inspired a bunch of content creators to go and do their thing, whatever that was.
It also, so my theory is other people are already doing it, and they're already doing it better without a budget, like doing their own thing with their own money, with the fans they've already grown themselves. G4 was never going to get back the same luster and love that it did back in the day because that audience doesn't exist anymore. That audience already went everywhere else. They're in the wind. Now, I love drama. I love a little controversy. You know.
We need more of that here on this show, I think.
Right. We don't have any, like, personally, but...
Well, no.
But we do get to enjoy it on the outside world, right? We get to enjoy it from other people. So
I actually was going to start the show with that Francis is my mayonnaise to my ketchup in special sauce, and I hate mayonnaise.
Oh. Thanks, Josh. You're the pickles to my hamburger, and I hate pickles. No, but like the other reason why I think it failed was they hired abrasive hosts.
Yeah, I actually confused one
host with
one host with another host, but we'll get to that part in a 10 minutes or something. But like, what's the person's name? It's not Fark. What's the person you're talking about? What's her name?
So there was a woman who used to be a League of Legends kind of announcer, and her name is Frosk. And she was paired up with Adam Sassler for X-Play. Okay. There was a situation. Now both Adam and Frosk are abrasive. I think Adam is abrasive as well. He likes to stir the pot.
He does, but at the same time, like the man's been getting 20 years of hate. Like if you go all the way back to the Ziff Davis days of like EGM. GameSpot, wasn't that a magazine?
GameSpot still exists.
Okay, well there you go. I think he was part of Game. I think he was part of GameSpot. I can't remember if GameSpot was a Ziff Davis. I know EGM was Ziff Davis for sure. But either way, he's been getting a lot of hate for a lot of years.
Yeah. But again, he's very. He's.
I don't think he's abrasive. I don't think that's right.
He's not
word.
out there like. Well, he's abrasive to certain people. That's for sure.
Okay.
He's not abrasive to everybody. I I'm indifferent about him because I really liked him in X Play in the past, but I haven't seen him since.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know that he's abrasive to some people. That much I know
Sure.
nowadays, at least. Anyway, so Frosk made some comments in which the audience weren't very happy with, and they were really kind of just misunderstandings about certain things, right? Like talking about the console wars and all that stuff, like really geeky, nerdy things that are like not important to anyone but nerds. And people were really upset by that because they're like, you're not, stop picking sides or stop trying to say stuff that actually isn't even true. Like, stop doing that. Okay. They asked her, like, they corrected her. She got upset. Now, see, so she went on. She did a very special X Play. I don't know if you ever saw this video of the special X Play where she talked about sexism in gaming. She had a rant about sexism in gaming, and she said, "Look, I know I'm not bangable like Olivia Munn and oh my God, what's her face from X Play?
Morgan Fairchild.
Morgan Webb. Yeah. Morgan Webb. I'm like, I know I'm not bangable like Morgan Webb and Olivia Munn because she's tatted up and she has like the septum piercing. She has the short like hair and everything. Very very scene looking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, who's ever said scene? And
I haven't heard. I have heard that described as a look in probably 10 plus years, but I was on board.
Yeah, it's like it's not quite goth, not quite emo, right? Scene.
Right.
Anyway, so she ends this rant in which Adam's applauding and everything, and the other two hosts are really uncomfortable, and she's like, if you don't like it, don't watch it. And so when this came down, all I could see were people saying, well, we did what you said. Like, you told us not to watch anymore, so we didn't. And people, and a lot of people are putting the blame on this person, right? And so she comments, again, enjoying the drama here. I am not picking sides. I'm just telling you what people are saying.
Sure.
And she, once again, blames the fans. It's the fans' fault for not, why why they failed. It wasn't because of her. It wasn't because of the company. It wasn't because of the setup. It wasn't because of anything they did. It was because of the people out there. Like, Josh, imagine us talking to the people who listen to the show and say, well, you know what? You guys suck. Why would they listen to us if we told them they were awful people?
Sure.
They just said they're like,
we aren't, we this isn't wrestling school.
Yeah.
We're not wrestlers. Where people hate you, that's a good thing. No, we're not trying to get heat with anybody. Go on.
Right. But that's what happened. Right? So
she got a lot of heat.
She got a lot of heat, and she continued to alienate the fans. And so, as such, G4, and I'm not blaming her. Again, I do believe it's just because there's other people like I've been listening to podcasts and watching other YouTubers and Twitch streamers do exactly what G4 did for the last 4 or 5 years or however long they've been gone. Like I've been my attention went elsewhere since they went away, and I had no interest. Even though, not gonna lie, Jeff and I tried to apply to be, or was it you and I? One of us, me and either you and I or Jeff and I went to apply to be. Oh no, it must have been Jeff because he lived in San Diego at the time, to be hosts of one of the G4 shows. Like to put out a audition tape to be a G4 host of some sort, because it's in LA and it's like, oh, that's not too bad for him. We never did it, so it didn't matter anyway.
For sure.
But we were planning on it, but we never did it. I'm kind of glad we didn't, even though one of the regular Super Geeked Up guests actually worked for G4. I had no idea because they're like, oh, I don't have a job anymore. I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know you worked for them. That's crazy. But yeah, so I don't know. Did you ever watch any of this new G4?
I watched the first probably 3 or 4 weeks of Attack of the Show because, again, Attack of the Show was my thing on G4. As a side thing, apparently the documentary that we got little clips of at WonderCon, they screened it at not San Diego. They screened it at New York, and it did really well. And the release is this December, I guess. Attack of the Dock,
Okay.
I think is what it was called. Either way.
We saw clips of that. Yeah.
So that they screened it at New York Comic Con, and then the release is in December apparently. So I'll be getting that for sure. But I watched the first few. I watched the first few weeks of the relaunch of Attack, and outside of the parts that had Kevin Pereira in it, I was like, The parts with Kevin, I was like, Kevin's back. He's back to his old antics. This is great. And then they would do the segment called Around the Net, where they would look at the videos, funny videos or whatnot. And that went on for like 2 hours because they would let every new host that was coming in, give it a shot. And it was like, okay, what about some of the funny skits or some of the info or a tech review of some sort, some of the main backbone things that was in Attack of the Show outside of the chemistry and whatnot that the hosts had. And there just wasn't a lot of that. So I kind of started falling off on it, and it would be on, but I would be doing other things, not really paying so much attention to it.
Sadness.
Yeah, it was kind of sad just because again, a lot of people are out there saying the same thing. There was a lot of potential there. It just didn't get, shown all the way through the door. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's a fucking, I don't even know if that's a thing people say. I'm making my own shit up. I'm just making my own shit up over here.
Yeah, but I mean, I know where you're coming from, and I understand what you mean. And I never cared enough to watch any of it, in all honesty. Because again, I had other sources for that exact same information.
Mm-hmm.
Funny videos, I know exactly where to look, right? Get video game reviews, there are other reviewers who I already trust. Why am I going to... They didn't give me any real incentive to have to go back. I would have gone back if, for some reason... I don't know. But here's the thing: I didn't even watch original Attack of the Show. Okay. I didn't really watch a lot of, original X-Play anyway. Really, I mean, we talked about that. You actually had to introduce me to a YouTube channel that plays all of old school Attack of the Show, because I haven't watched any Attack of the Show. So, I don't know. I mean, they tried. Look, they even brought in a particular Twitch streamer to hopefully bolster views, and that didn't even work out. She has her own problems, but
yeah. Well, speaking of her own problems, what's the person's name? Because I apparently didn't write it down correctly. Amaranth is a Twitch streamer and model and influencer person. Are these all correct things you would say?
Yes, she's an influencer / model / entertainer.
I'm trying to think how I want to structure this. So for years, and I don't really know a lot about this person. This is stuff that I've been just kind of picking up over the weekend to make it a topic to talk about. But apparently over the years of her streaming, she has put it out there or alluded to the fact that she is mostly single. Definitely not married, but mostly single. So this past weekend, some news broke out that unfortunately, there is abuse in a married relationship that she is in, and the husband, whoever the fuck this person is, apparently threatened to kill her dogs, and there's phone calls that she recorded and text messages and screenshots, all this sort of stuff. And that sucks, and no woman should ever have to go through any of that shit. But that's what the story is that she is married and her husband is threatening to, or has abused her, whatever. And that's what the story that's being put out there is. But to me, Francis, that's not what the story is. That is a story, and it should be addressed, and hopefully everything gets worked out and support and everything else. Not trying to make light of anything, but the real story, Francis.
She's streaming now.
Okay,
right?
well, so things are decent at least. But to me, Francis, the real story here is that all these, as the kids call them, simps or incels or whatever.
Yeah, simps. Yeah.
That have, for years, thought she was single and had provided her with, in some cases, people said thousands of dollars, are mad. Not that she's being threatened of abuse or has been abused or anything like that. That she's actually married, and that's what they're mad about. To me, that is ridiculous.
It is. Yeah.
No celebrity person that you and I have ever spoken with or been very friendly or flirted in the sense of just getting along with somebody. Never in any of those people did I ever think that any of them that I could take up to the hotel room and have some fun with.
Well,
or
okay.
Regardless of how friendly somebody might be to me, I never think that, if I give them $20 to help them out, that, they owe me something, or there's some sort of an illusion that, they don't actually need this $20. They have somebody that can give them $20. Or I don't know. I just think it's fucking ridiculous that these people, instead of being concerned about somebody's safety, the safety of doggos, everybody loves dogs, they're mad that she's married. Your thoughts? It was so shocking it made you choke.
You're right. So I forget Amaranth in the grand scheme of things when it comes to. I mean, obviously her situation is terrible. I hope she gets out of it all right, and that.
Right, like I said, we're not here to make light of anything.
Right, but but here's the thing. The concept of the single female streamer is exactly how these women make their money. Now, I'm not saying this is not an excuse for these simps to be like angry that she was single. Again, that's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's stupid. But I also believe that's the brand for a lot of these women. The brand is they never talk about the relationships, because the purpose of these streams, the purpose of like not just Twitch thoughts, right? Which do people even know what a thought is? I don't even know if people know what a thought is.
I mean,
that hoe over there. That's what thought it translates to.
Oh,
that hoe
thought. THOT.
Yeah, THOT.
Yes.
Yeah. So thoughts that's what they are, right? Like they're these women who are essentially selling their bodies to men for the fantasy of being able to be with them, right? They go on virtual dates, they do all that stuff. So it's stupid to be mad about that stuff, but it's also, like I said, that's their brand. That's what they're selling. That's how they make their money. They make their money to letting men know that, giving them the illusion that they have the potential. If they just pay the right price, they can have them in some way, shape, or form. Dating for dudes sucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's all connected. I'm bringing this up because it's all connected. We have the biggest number of single men in a long time. This is not an excuse. This is just an explanation. I'm not excusing these guys. And as a result, a lot of these men have no experience with real women. They have no idea what real women are like. There's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are young. A lot of them are in their late teens, early 20s. Some of them are in their 30s. Some of them are in their 40s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of guys out there who don't have a lot of experience with women. Not an excuse, but it makes sense when they don't have that experience that they think this stupid stuff about the girls that they're flirting with and giving money to. They're giving their money to them because they're desperate and they're lonely. And the only thing that helps them through their day is thinking, well, here there's this random chick online who I give money to, who's really one of like 3 or 4 or 5 or a dozen women I talk to online, as if they're only like pining over one woman. You know, she's one of a dozen of whom I give money to, and it you know, it reinforces this whole like, you know, people wonder what toxic masculinity is, right? Well, there it is. It's this idea that we can own women if we just give them enough money, that we can have them if we just give them the right amount of attention. And so these idiots eventually find out that this girl that they're in love with has a boyfriend or a husband. And of course, because they don't have experience with real women, they just think about themselves. And they're like, oh, well, I can't believe I spent $1 million. I mean, she's a millionaire. Amaranth's a millionaire, right? She makes like several $1 million a year. That's like tons of money. And this is one of these people who is like, well, I'm going to spend. I've worked 80 hours. I've worked overtime. I've worked 80 hours this week. I'm going to give some of my hard-earned cash to a girl who gives me like 5 seconds of attention. And they take that personally. And it's sad.
I mean, we can bring up almost any OnlyFans page at random right now, and I'll go out on a limb and say 90 to 95% of all OnlyFans bios will say in there that they will provide the girlfriend experience or the date night experience. Yeah. Francis.
Yeah.
When you go to the strip club.
Yeah.
Do you want the girl that's shaking her ass in your face? Do you want her to say, well, I'm doing this because I don't have, the ability to get a better job or whatever? Or do you want them to say, oh, I'm working my way through college? I want the fantasy. Oh. You're working your way through college. Here's $1.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? I'm here for the fantasy, man. Like but I also
pay them to lie to us. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it is. I've had a lot of friends. Let's not throw everybody under the fucking bus, Josh. But I've had a few friends that have started OnlyFans pages after the pandemic started. And I'm like, I support all of you. Yeah. Even if I don't support you by subscribing to your page for a month, I still support you because like do your thing, but just be careful. Protect your shit. Don't fucking if some guy starts dumping money at you, don't think that he's actually gonna save you or some shit.
Well, there's a reason why a lot of women who do these things, they hide their faces, right? You see them from the neck down only.
Mm-hmm.
You see them only in profile, or they hide their faces when they do stuff. Not that I have much experience in any of this.
Not at all.
Research-wise, yeah.
Not at all. We like to do research before we talk about things.
Exactly. Like I don't want to be ignorant about this conversation. Yeah. So
$3.99 for 31 days. Why not?
60% sale on
$6 for a month.
That happened.
Yeah, that's $6. That's a coffee. That's a whole month of entertainment.
That's a coffee.
Coffee's like
exactly.
What's a coffee? 2 hours of yummy, tasty goodness at the most. right?
Yeah, and then it makes me poo afterwards.
Right?
This doesn't make me poo afterwards.
I mean, unless that's what they're into.
Oh, like, yeah, that's just, okay. Good point. Good point. But that's so you see this stuff and you feel for them, right? Because it's a really good way to make money. There was a Twitch streamer I used to follow, or I still follow actually, who used to be just a musician. All she did was play cover. She was she's one of those people with perfect pitch, right? So they just have to hear the music and they can just play it, right? And so I used to watch this channel just for her to do that. And then hadn't watched her in like a couple years. I'm like, I wonder what she's up to. I like the piano playing music, whatever. And I go on her channel and she's like in a bikini, like getting all naked and stuff and like playing the piano. And I'm just like, oh no. I mean, how the mighty have fallen. Like,
right.
It used to be like it used to be just a music channel. And then all of a sudden she's like, no, I'm going to flaunt my sexuality because I know where the money comes from. I know how my bread gets buttered, right? And it's kind of sad to me that like, oh well, that's okay, I guess. So, yeah.
I don't know. It's too complicated for us to figure out. But
it's complicated, but it still leads to the simps though, which sucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what can you do? Not be one, I guess.
Not be one. Yeah. You never simped over anyone, have you?
No, hell no.
I don't know.
No, man. It goes the other way around.
Oh, that's true. You have the ones people simping after you. That's
exactly. I just enter a room and piss motherfuckers off.
That's true.
But you did mention something about getting buttered, bread getting buttered. Yeah,
that's it. Their bread is buttered. Yeah.
Let's see if I can do this one. So I think I got it figured out. What's his name? What's Han Solo's name? Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford is getting his bread buttered because he's going to be in the MCU, taking over from another actor to take over the role of General Ross, and everybody's really excited about it. But everybody has to remember, he said, "Show me the money," not "I'm excited to be in the MCU."
And he's like 83, 84 years old.
I mean,
the dude is old.
That's fine. It's General Ross. Okay, we're not talking about fucking Kato Caitlin here. We're talking about General Ross just barking orders from behind a desk, not trying to hide a murderer.
No, okay. But or while emceeing a convention.
Yeah.
And I mean, good for Harrison. He barely acts now anyway. I've seen him I saw him in the clips of Blade Runner 20 whatever. And I'm like, whatever.
I mean, apparently a new Indiana Jones is in the works.
Yeah.
It's written, or it's been written. It's being written. It's being filmed or has been filmed. Like, I mean, he's gonna keep going until he can't. But I don't know.
But he likes Indiana Jones though. Like, he hates Han Solo. He likes Indiana Jones.
Will he like General Ross?
No, that's a paycheck. Like you said, show me the money. It's a paycheck. It's not like Indiana Jones where he actually cried. Like, Harrison Ford cried when he talked about it at D23 about being Indiana Jones one last time. Like, he teared up and like choked on stage. So he obviously cares about the Indiana Jones character. He couldn't give two shits about General Ross. Just there for the paycheck.
Right. That's, I think he'll do just fine. But it's not like he was banging on the mouse's door to be let in.
He's already in the mouse's door. He's a Star Wars guy.
Yeah, but the mouse can
he's-
still come by and say, like, you want to come back?
Yeah.
I know you just did Indy. You were Han Solo again, but you want to come back again? Ha ha.
Oh yeah, he only works for Disney because Indy is another Disney property.
Mm-hmm.
So like he only works for Disney. Oh my God, the guy. He's like, what other franchise do you have left that I am not a part of? MCU. Fine.
What's that got to do with McDonald's? What? Yeah, do you remember the movie Regarding Henry?
Well, yeah.
That, I don't think he was acting in that movie. I think that was actually Harrison Ford. And every time they talked to Regarding Henry, and he was like, I want to go home. That was just Harrison Ford being like, I want to go home.
Well, he's not afraid to tell you how much he hates doing certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like he hates Han, like with a passion. He hates Han Solo, like with a fiery passion. He wanted to die in Empire Strikes Back.
Yep,
He wanted to be dead in Empire Strikes Back,
Mm-hmm.
and they kept him for whatever reason. I guess because they paid him money, or no, because it was successful, right? I guess because Episode 4 or The New Hope was successful. They're like, oh no, we need you back.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like there's expectations. But he wanted to be dead. He wanted to be gone since Empire, and they just keep bringing him back. Hey, we're doing this new movie called The Force Awakens. Do you want to be a part of it? Let's see what my wife thinks.
I want to go home. No. The line is, you are home. I want to go home. No. Say, Chewie, we're home. That's all we need you to say.
God, he hated it so much. And you could tell. I mean, you couldn't tell in the movie,
Right.
but then when they brought him back for Rise of Skywalker, and he just like he walked out of his Hollywood home, stood on his driveway. He's like, "Can you just film it from here and like CGI me in the movie?"
Yeah.
So they're like, "Yeah, Harrison, whatever you want." Great.
I was
line.
upset to be spoiled about his part in that movie, but at the same time I was like, whatever.
He was all scraggly and didn't care, and he was like wearing pajamas the whole time. I was just thinking, you guys really, oh man, was it really worth the $30 million to give him
Right.
5 seconds of airtime? Like, you could have done without him. It's okay, but no, whatever. Anyway, good for him.
Maybe they should pay the people that made the gigantic bread loaf of Han Solo and carbonite. Maybe they should have them come in. Maybe if they can do a gigantic bread loaf of Han Solo and carbonite, couldn't they not just make a big Han Solo out of bread and just manipulate it around the screen?
Yes. Yes, they could have and they should have. And B, I'm really disappointed they didn't do that. I love that bread.
I should have grabbed a picture of it, but it really wouldn't show on here. So everybody go to your Google machines and look up the Han Solo bread.
Yeah,
It's awesome. It's huge too.
It's awesome and it's funny. It's just weird.
It's life size. It's like 6 feet tall of bread.
That looks just like the carbonite from the movie,
but bread.
And when you look at it, read it for the puns. Just read all the puns.
Oh,
the
yeah.
puns are the best. Really, that's the only reason why you should be looking at it, because the sheer number of puns that they have on there is amazing. Oh, that's what I was wondering if we're ever going to talk about. We'll have to talk about this next time. But NBC Universal, did you hear what they did?
No. Well,
They hired TikTokers to be their next television creators. In other words, accomplished writers, script writers, actors, etc. They're like, no, not you guys. You see these guys who are like twerking over here? We want them to be the people who make our next television shows and movies over here at NBC Universal. Can we have them?
We'll have to look at some articles because I wrote it down. So we'll have to see if we can't find some stuff because that'd be hilarious.
We'll talk about it next week. Yeah, so they hired. Yeah.
All shows going forward will only be 45 seconds long.
Yeah, it says NBC Universal has launched an initiative designed to turn TikTokers into its next generation of television creators.
That's not going to work. There's a reason why they're on TikTok. It's 45 seconds.
Not just that, but it's just like they have no talent. They're just pretty.
And good at editing, at jump cuts.
And good at editing. I guess so. I don't know. No offense to anyone who's TikToking, who's listening. You know, you guys do great. Love you guys. You guys are the best. We'll talk about it next time, though. We'll go into that.
Yeah. So the one last thing here, and then we'll get the hell out of here. Because look at this, we're 21 minutes over time.
We're used to that by now.
By this time, it's just becoming the regular thing. But I saw yesterday or this past weekend, for some reason, Ambly and some other production studio decided that they want to make a sequel to Twister. The 96 Bill Paxton classic about tornadoes and flying
Tornado
cows.
Chasers,
Yeah, tornado chasers and tornadoes and flying cows. As you just told me before we hit record, Helen Hunt's still alive. So I guess she could be in it.
Helen Hunt is still alive, yes.
But like
very much
that movie, that was Bill Paxton's thing. So you get it. And Philip Seymour Hoffman's not around anymore. So there goes the other really fun character that was in that movie. And then the antagonist, Carrie Elwes, he got sucked up in the first tornado in the first movie.
Right.
So he's not around.
Wood died in that.
So who you gonna have Helen Hunt and a whole bunch of new people? I mean, I guess the star's not really about the people in the movie. The star's about the CGI tornado and the flying cows. But
who cares though?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's all of this is getting up to. Like, why? Like, have you been nostalgic for? I mean, if you want to watch a tornado movie, why don't you just put Twister on, or Wizard of Oz or something?
Yeah, I haven't. True.
I mean, what I'm trying to think. What other movies had a fucking tornado in it?
Sharknado.
Yeah, but that's totally different. That's
But
a tornado. That's a tornado with sharks. That's just not a tornado with flying. You're trying to compare cows and sharks, man. That's like apples and oranges.
Here are the following popular movies with tornadoes in them. Tell me if you've heard of any of these, and then we could probably rest the whole like making movies about tornadoes again thing. Okay. First movie up here is called 13 Minutes.
Never heard of it. Probably made in the mid 60s. You have dates on any of these?
2021's 13 Minutes.
Okay. Nope.
2014's Into the Storm.
I've heard of it.
2018's The Hurricane Heist.
Nope. I think that's a play on words.
Well, they're robbing like a bank or something during a hurricane, which is not a tornado,
okay.
but whatever.
Sure.
Then there's this one, of course, this holiday classic, The Christmas Twister.
Oh yeah, that holiday classic. I forgot about that one.
2012. Storm Cell, and I got a couple more here. Then we have, of course, 500 Mile Per Hour Storm from 2013. And lastly, but not leastly, 2013's Stonado. Not Sharknado. Stonado.
Stonado.
I think
is it a stoner movie or is it a tornado that throws rocks?
Well, it's apparently a Canadian film, which is probably why it's called Stonado instead of Tornado, because they have that accent. But yeah, and everything else is, of course, Sharknado. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Number 5's got
I
the
haven't thought
Hoff
about
in it.
tornado movies since. Oh, was there one with Hoff in it? Really?
I think the fifth and sixth one. I think it has the Hoff. Fourth, fifth, and sixth. I think it has the Hoff in it. And then
I stopped keeping count after.
Sugar Ray's, I think, in all of them.
Oh, Mark McGrath.
Yeah, he's in, I think, almost all of them. Dude, it's great. Speaking of NBC Universal, so's every employee of NBC Universal in all of the Sharknadoes.
Oh, jeez.
Because it's a NBC Universal / Comcast production.
Is it really?
I know it's pretty fucking sure it is.
Well, it's sci-fi, isn't it?
Yeah, which I think is owned by NBC Universal.
You're probably right. Oh my god, that's really funny. Wow. Well, there you go. So you have all those TikTokers now have a place to go, which is, and you're right. It is a NBC Universal. It is owned by NBC Universal, so you're absolutely right. And all those TikTokers that were just hired are going to be the next Sharknado 7.
TikTok's revenge. Yeah, well, can't wait for that day. Let me look at the list here. That's everything on the list. Okay, so for everybody that's watching this live, popping up in the chat right now, something Francis is going to talk about because I don't have any information on it. So let me hit enter here on the chat. So that goes into the chat. There's a little Kickstarter URL there for Francis's new adventure in writing that he's going to tell you about right now.
I like the logo. I copied too much. It should have just been the tiny URL. But anyway, tinyurl.com/monstertales is a link to the not a pre-order, but it's like the reminder page for the Kickstarter that's going to happen in a week or two for this book that I did a short story for, an anthology for. It's my second anthology, so I'll be that's when I count myself as like a semi-real author, because I have 2 published works out in the world that people can buy with their little handsies and little bunnies, where I get weird royalty checks now. I get royalty checks. It's weird.
That's pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. It doesn't matter if they're for $2 or 2 cents.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, totally. It's just like, oh, I get royalty checks. This is weird. So anyway, so this is our new series, and I think the story I wrote in this was way better than the thing I wrote for the first one. But I had a lot of experience. I had a lot of help, kind of doing it. Like I learned a lot. Nobody helped me, but I learned a lot. But anyway, go check it out. It's called Tales of Monstrosity, under tinyurl.com/monstertales. Check it out. It's a Kickstarter reminder. That's how we're starting it off, and then it's going to be available next year. But we're doing the Kickstarter so you can get like cool little perks, like us doing narration for the book and stuff like that. Like you get little cool perks like that. Actually, I don't know if that made it in, but there's just perks and stuff.
Well, I mean, it's different perks. You jump on there, donate some money, and figure out what those perks are.
Yep.
Because they're perks. Yeah. Perks change.
Yeah, and you'll get a digital copy for sure. One of the perks is digital copy, another one will be like a physical copy and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm super excited about this book. It's really cool that I continue every year to be able to be a part of something like this. So check it out. It'll be available, like I said, in a couple weeks to start, and then selling nationwide on next year or so. And in the year on a high note with a really cool kind of book series. So,
and you can get the first book is available on Amazon and a bunch of other places, but the first book is called what's it called?
Dragons of a Different Tale.
Dragons of a Different Tale. Look that up on the Amazon. It's like $23 or something, $16 or something. It's a
hardcover,
yeah. It's not terribly expensive, and it's got a bunch of our friends that wrote stories in it, including my podcasting partner for life. So
Yeah.
you should go get one. That's everything, Francis. I need a snack. It's time to go.
I know you've been at it for a while. We've been at this a whole hour and a half, which
Whole
is
hour and a half, and I've been up for way too long today. But where can people find you? Possibly on the YouTubes live sometimes on Wednesdays.
Yeah, supergeekedup.com. For tomorrow, we're going to have, I think for the next few weeks, we're going to have guests who are part of that book series that I just talked about. So go check it out.
Awesome. You can find everything else that Francis does at sinceresarcasm.net. You can find everything that we do here at Points of Interest. Just look up POI Podcast everywhere, and you will find it. Email us at gmail.com. What is it? The POI Podcast at gmail.com. You can't just email us at gmail.com. That would be awesome, though. It'd be like old-timey making a phone call. Like, connect me to Bill Sims, you know?
Hold on a second. And then you have the lady like
yes,
changing all the wires.
Yeah, exactly. But POI Podcast for everything. The POI Podcast at gmail.com. Call, voicemail, text at 314-764-7631. We would love to have you on the show. We'll talk to you. Otherwise, we'll be here next Tuesday. Same Twitch time, same Twitch channel. Got nothing else to say. We're out of here. Bye.
Because you guys are awesome. Thank you for listening.
Oh, yes. Well, yes. That goes without saying. But yes, thank you all. Bye.